These frequently asked questions have been doing bits so far. These are taken to an unreal, so we're going to keep them coming thick and fast. Today's video is all about what it's like to leave home at 17. That's right, when I was 17, I packed my bags, left Dublin and moved to the Big Apple. That's right, New York, baby. To be honest with you, it was a big deal at the time, but the decision was made super quick and fast amongst myself and my family in Dublin. Things weren't going too right for me at the time in my personal life. Getting into a bit of trouble, this, that and the third. Just being a stupid teenager. And the decision came for me to get sent over to New York to live with my uncle upstate in Saratoga Springs and just start fresh for the summer and see what happens. To be honest with you, I was terrified and excited at the same time. My family, my best friends, all of my interests were still very much so rooted in Dublin, but it was time to leave, and I don't regret the decision at all. Despite me being so young and immature, it was probably the best thing I've ever done, to be honest with you. Just, opening myself up to a brand new world. New York City is where the flight landed. I know I didn't live in New York City, but even spending a day in that city, in my opinion, it'll change your view on life. It's just constant. It's big buildings. It's lights everywhere. It's hustle. It's bustle. Things don't stop ever over in New York, as most of you know already. And yeah, to be landing on off the plane in New York City, witnessing all this mad stuff going on around me, and then traveling upstate to New York was pretty surreal. Now that I look back on it, I feel like I was just rolling with the punches in the moment, maybe not soaking it up as much as I probably should have. But now that I look back on it, 10 years later, it was mad. 5 days notice, you're on a plane and you're in New York just like that. Wow, what a big moment. Getting to know New York was definitely an interesting, eye-opening experience. Coming from Dublin, where I knew every street name, I knew the north side, the south side, Ringsend, Crumlin, where my base is. I had loads of friends, life was decent. To moving to New York, especially Saratoga upstate, and not having a clue about nothing is definitely tough to deal with in the first few days anyway, or the first week or two. But I'm very lucky that I did move in with my uncle over there, and my cousin, who was still living in his house at the time, was only about 3 or 4 years older than me. So he took me under his wing big time, showed me all his pals out there, went out for meals, done fun things in the week, got me set up with job opportunities, with interviews in the hospitality industry. Definitely that all of these wheels were in motion within 5 to 7 days of me living out there, and it 100% settled me down big time. So that would definitely be a piece of advice I'd give to anybody leaving home, no matter what age you are. If you can get your teeth stuck into an industry and get a job within a week or two. I know it might be stressful that first week or two actually looking for the job, as the bank account gets lower and lower. But as soon as you get situated in a job, it really does just put your feet on the ground and make you feel like you're progressing, which is probably what you're looking for the most out of an experience like this, leaving home, is progression, right? And new experiences. So yeah, getting a job after a week or two 100% settled me rapidly. And yeah, I was a dishwasher in a restaurant. I was 17. What else you expect? But I was earning good money, so much so to the point where I was able to buy myself a car over there. Obviously, I got an American driver's license, which is a whole ordeal in itself, being in the DVLA, and it's just so movie-like. Everything that you do in New York, you just have seen it, haven't you, or heard about it in a film at some point in your life. So, life started moving quick, One week became a month. a month became 2 months. I'm getting to know Saratoga. I'm drinking, I'm eating, I'm just vibing out, to be honest. And it was the perfect thing for me as a 17-year-old who basically had not many other options in life back in Dublin. Like, in all honesty, if I was staying in Crumlin in Dublin, instead of going to New York, like, I tell anybody this, I would have been locked up, or would have had a kid within a year or so, or be fucking dead. No doubt about it. Just the road that I was travelling down is not a very sensible road, but sometimes you can just get caught up in that kind of thing when you're a product of your environment. And I probably want to touch on it slightly a little bit as well, like this video and the being black and Irish video that I've done previously. Some people have taken my words a little bit out of context and they think that I'm slagging off Dublin from a black person's point of view, and that is not the case in the slightest. I love Dublin. I love that I grew up there. I love that my heritage is 50% Irish. I love everything about it. There's no qualms with Ireland in the slightest. It was probably just my social settings that set me up in not the best of position in life in Crumlin, which can be easily done to anybody really all across the world, not just in Ireland. So yeah, don't take my word too seriously when I say these things about my experiences in Ireland. In all honesty, they probably could have happened anywhere across the world, which is probably a deeper lying matter. But I just don't really feel like now's the time to be chatting about trauma and stuff like that. It's deep conversations, and we're not quite there yet. You know what I mean? We're still trying to create this relationship, you and me. I want to make a proper community here on the Natural Swill channel and form a bond with my watchers and like update yous on my life experiences, and maybe hopefully you can learn something or try a new path in life or get onto natural wine like I'm also always shouting about. Travel to new cities. I think there's defo a lot of progression and positive movements in the future for this channel. But for now, let's just keep getting to know each other with the casual stories. Like, let me know as well if you've got anything related to these kind of stories in terms of moving away from home at a young age, or moving to New York as an Irish person. I'm game to chat. I'm game. Now that I'm deep into the conversation with you, it's kind of brought along a thought process in my head, and yeah, let me know if you agree with me or not. But and especially now that I live in the UK, it's really opened my eyes to this situation. But the culture that in Ireland to leave home is definitely a little bit different and skewed compared to other typical Western countries like the UK or Australia or America. And in those other countries that I just spoke about there, it's very common, isn't it, when you're 17 or 18 to go to university in a different city in your country, to experience a new part of the country, to move out of your parents' house, I don't know, to grow up a little bit, isn't it? And like get new life experiences. And weirdly, that's not really the case in Ireland for some reason. Like, if you're from Dublin, 90% of people just go to university in Dublin and they'll just live at home with their parents and commute to college. I think in the last few years since I've been abroad away from home, I've definitely heard of more and more people in Ireland, especially like friends of friends in Dublin, deciding to travel over to Galway for college and like moving out there. And like that's definitely such a positive sign of like, yeah, I suppose the culture moving forward in Ireland. But yeah, I think maybe we're just a little bit comfortable, aren't we? Like staying at home if possible. You know, so much of our lives revolve around our mammies in Ireland, and if you're Irish, you defo can relate to this. The comforting aspect of having matriarch figure in your life is so valuable and important for us in Ireland. Like, it's not even funny. Like, the whole world, your whole world will revolve around your ma in Ireland. They're just like super women. They can do anything. They know where everything is. It feels like they're always one or two steps ahead of the game. They know best, as always, and you might learn that the easy way or the hard way, but trust me, your ma always knows best. And maybe that's just a comforting aspect of being Irish and like maybe not wanting to leave the nest as early. To go to college in a different city. But here in the UK, like, or over in America, as soon as you turn 18, 19 and you're ready to go to university, people just decide, like, all right, cool, if I'm from Manchester, at the very least, I'm going over to Leeds to uni. And it might only still be 45 minutes on the train away from Manchester, away from my home. But I'm moving into uni halls and I'm living with other kids from all over the country. And, like, growing up, isn't it? At an earlier age. And I like that, to be honest with you. I can relate to it, as we've just spoken about. Like, me leaving home at 17 was very abnormal. Nobody in my friendship group or that I'd know of, or my family even, left home at such a young age. And I know my hand was a little bit forced to leave, which is probably why it's considered so abnormal. Looking back on my experience of leaving home, if I could give my 17-year-old self advice on the whole situation, is to jump head first into it, in all honesty. I know it's scary and daunting, but some of the best decisions in life are scary, and the experiences that you'll be a part of when you leave home, whether you're 17 or 27, who knows, doesn't matter, to be honest. The experiences that you'll be a part of are second to none. Like, it's an education that you will not be able to get anywhere else. You can't buy it, you can't read it online, you can't have a snippet of it for 1 week when you go on holiday twice a year. Like, you really have to dive head first into it and just go for it, hell for leather. Honestly, I know it's going to be scary, and you might have pressure from family members or friends who are unsure whether you'll be able to do it or not. But in my personal experience of living in a few different countries now across the world, I feel like you just have to go and do it. Another piece of advice I would give is to not be afraid to ask for help when you're in a sticky situation. And that doesn't just mean financial help, especially from an Irish person's point of view. Like, pick up the phone, ring up your ma, ring up your dad, ring up your peoples. If you've got things that are on your mind, or you're worried about how you're going to find a job, or how you're going to pay your rent, or, maybe not having enough friends, your closest people in life know you inside out. And they'll be able to, at the very least, have an eye-opening conversation with you that might just spark a little bit more energy in you to go and get that job, or to have that pint with a new person on the weekend, or even to join that seven-a-side football team where, again, you'll meet new people. Don't be afraid to rely on your OGs and your people from home and ask for help whenever you can, because it means a lot for them too, for you to reach out and ask for help. You know what I mean? It tells them that you truly value their opinion and their thoughts. So never be afraid to ask for help and reach out. Trust me, it'll be scary, but never forget that home will always be with you, no matter where you go. Being Irish, being wherever you're from, never leaves you. If anything, it gets stronger when you leave. That's my 2 cents on what it's like to leave home as a 17-year-old. My personal experience. Hopefully you've enjoyed this conversation. If you can relate to it, drop in the comment section and let's get chatting. Always a pleasure. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on this video. Reshare it if it's resonated with you. And get involved with the community. We're only going up from here. Exciting things to happen in the future. Appreciate having your time as always. Enjoy your day. Peace, love.